So continuing, he comes out finally after like close to an hour of us waiting. And there's, I mean, it's the people watching. The crowd was insane. Like, there were people that were 65 years old. There were people that were 26. Like, it was weird, man. And so he finally comes out, and so we're like, can we just get a group picture? You know, which I posted in the other video. And so he's like, yeah, that's fine. He's got his security guard. Looks like the deceased Alan Woody from Allman Brothers and Government Mule. And so I come up to this dude, and I'm like, and I'm just making small talk while the person in front of us talks to Corey, because he talked to him for several minutes. You know, I mean, he's very nice and all. And so I looked at the guy I'm standing next to him. He's like 6'4", just this old, like, biker-looking, washed-up meth guy. And I said, so where y'all headed to next? And he puts his hand on my shoulder, like, you know, he's standing next to me, he just puts his hand on my shoulder. And I'm gonna put my hand on my shoulder for the length of this conversation. This is how it exactly went. I was like, so how long, where y'all headed to? He's like, brother, you're asking the wrong person. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, what state are we in? I said, Virginia. He's like, yeah, we're in Virginia. I said, going south? He's like, headed north. I'm like, all right, I had a 50-50 shot. And he says, going to New Jersey. And now his hand is still on my shoulder. And it's just, and my buddies are looking at me like, what is happening right now? Corey's still talking to the lady that was in front of us. And finally he takes his hand off my shoulder, and he's like, and I was like, oh yeah, Jersey's cool. And I'm like, what is going on? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so we go up to Corey, and again, I had some questions prepared, right? I was gonna ask a couple things, and I didn't get a chance to because he changed it up, right? Now, I had just taught my buddy John, who was with us, about exerting dominance over other humans. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, when you go to shake someone's hand, you throw out your left hand. They'll automatically throw their right. You don't change. They will have to switch to their left, and you've just exerted dominance over that person, and forevermore, you will be the more dominant of the two people. And he's like, that's weird. I'm like, it works. So funny. It's funny that we had talked about that earlier in the day, because it came to fruition here with Corey Feldman. So he comes, I sit down, and he's like, so, and I sit down first, right? I'm sitting to his left, John's sitting to his right, and Teeter's standing behind him, right? And he's like, so what'd you like most about the show? And I'm like, and so he throws me a curveball, because I wasn't expecting him to ask me questions. And I'm like, okay, I see what we're doing here. And I said, he's exerting dominance. So I threw out, I said, and almost verbatim, this is what I said. I said, I think it was the eclecticness. It was all over the place. You didn't know what was coming next, which was cool, you know, like that. And he's like, yeah. And then I exerted my dominance. I said, because I knew he'd had some new band members in the band recently, because his wife, you know, broke up with him, and everybody left the band with her and all. And so I immediately threw back in his face. I was like, so how'd you find a drummer in like a week? He's like, and this is what he said. I'm not shitting you. He says, well, when you've got the kind of influence that, you know, and clout that I carry in the industry, you know, you get a lot of word of mouth, and people throw, and I said, so, you know, people just threw out names and all this. And, you know, he's like, yeah. And he's basically saying, he's like, that would be like Keith Richards being like, hey, Charlie Watts died, we need a new drummer. Hey, Keith, call up John Brigham. He's a hell of a drummer, you know, and that's not the same. This is Corey damn Feldman, okay? This is Teddy Duchamp, one ear Teddy Duchamp from the Goonies, okay? That's what we're talking. That's who I'm sitting next to having this conversation with. But again, very nice guy. He signs his name like crazy. So he signed our little placards that we had, our VIP lanyards, and has a very weird signature. But we got all that knocked out and everything. And so we hit the road, and you know, I saw the drummer on the way out. I was like, nice playing, dude, whatever. And we hop in the truck, and we're headed out. I didn't get home till almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Then I had to get up at 8. And like, so I'm a little zombified right now, but I'm still a VIP. That's what Vanilla Ice VIP. Anyway, so to sum it up, Corey Feldman is something that you need to see for yourself, okay? It was a $30 ticket. We just made it a little bit more expensive by going to the VIP experience. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm telling you, I have not laughed that hard in 12-hour period in a long time. I mean, we laughed, and most of the jokes, oh my God. I mean, we're all three pretty good at just cracking on people, and so it ends up, it was some funny crap, right? Yeah, and I truly contend that laughter keeps you young. It makes you live longer, and we added 2 years to our life yesterday because it was damn near hilarious 90% of the time. It was a little sad at times, but I will say this, the bourbon and cokes were very strong. I mean, the bartenders, they were a little trashy, and I like my women a little on the trashy side, as I've heard said in the past, but I don't know what that was, but the drinks were made with love, so I'll give them that. I will say this, if you go back and watch the video I posted of the show, when the girls singing the Cyndi Lauper Goonies song, dude, there's a guy, look at the guy standing right in front. They cut on these two bubble machines, and they were like smoke bubbles. They would land on you and smoke would come out of them, but then it would leave soap residue. I don't know what it was. It was like being in a vape pen. And this dude stood there and he took bubbles to the face for like 6 straight minutes. And the stuff was like, it was not fun to breathe. It was odd. And he's just, if you look at him, they're just going, at one point they were hitting him in the face. His phone had to be covered in like soap because mine was a little bubbly. And I was kind of dodging them off the side, but you know, they got pretty big, but we laughed our asses off. Then Corey blows out these couple confetti cannons. You know, confetti goes everywhere. I'm sure the people at the Canal Club in Richmond were happy to vacuum up confetti last night before they went home for their shift. But then again, it's probably still there. It'll just get dissolved into the carpet, as many other blood stains and semen things have done in the past. But at one point I look at this girl, and we're like second row equivalent. You know, I'm 4 feet from Corey Feldman. You know, I could have taken him out had I needed to, but I'm not that kind of person, and you know, he didn't do anything to deserve that. But this girl is standing there on the stage, you know, right in front of the PA, and she has got confetti all over her. I mean, in her hair, stuck in her ear, on her shirt, everything. She has no idea because, you know, stuff weighs nothing. And she's just like rocking on. She's taking like pictures of Corey, and I'm like, this woman's gonna go home and have confetti, and it's gonna be like walking around with a booger in your nose. And then like 2 hours later, somebody's like, you got a booger in your nose. You're like, oh man, who has seen that? Damn it. Anyway, so that's the story, Morning Glory. It's not all the story, but it's most of it. There were a lot more things that maybe I'll talk about here in the coming days, but I'm telling you, man, if he comes to a city near you, just bury the hatchet and spend $155. It's worth it in the end. In the end, it doesn't even matter. All right, y'all giddy up. Have a great weekend.